Hey guys, in today's video I decided I'm gonna just vent a little bit, talk about myself, and specifically the topic for today will be trapping yourself, which I guess I'll explain a little better. Just in general, I'm trying to talk about trapping yourself in the way of like talking yourself into a corner or being stuck in a persona that you hate. So those are kind of the two main subjects, and I'll hit on both of those with some examples and things like that. For starters, in terms of talking yourself into a corner as a way of trapping yourself, or I keep saying yourself, I really do mean myself. This is primarily a personal thing. But in any case, the way I've kind of done this recently is by like offering to help people when honestly I don't want to. Like the right thing to do is when someone's struggling, you say, "Oh, I'll help any way I can." But in reality, helping that person could mean putting aside my own well-being, not in a super duper dangerous way. It's not like I'm jumping off a bridge or anything like that, but in the sense of trying to help someone deal with their own, let's say, anxiety or things like that, their own personal issues. It means setting aside my own personal issues, not worrying about dealing with my own personal issues, and then taking the energy that I should probably be dedicating to helping myself and making sure I am doing well and feeling all right to helping make sure someone else is better. This is especially hard because I'm decent at helping talk to people and having like a therapeutic type of conversation, but I'm by no means any kind of therapist. I've kind of collected enough knowledge over the years to figure out the right things to say and how to, in most cases, approach someone who's struggling mentally with or their own emotions and things like that. But I'm in no means a therapist, so ultimately, my argument ends up wrapping back around to this is my opinion, but you should really talk to someone professionally. So that's something I've been dealing with a lot recently. Just talking to friends of mine, people I care about, and trying to help them through their own issues when realistically I don't want to. And I know that sounds cruel or mean or whatever, but I feel like I'm stuck in a corner helping people when in reality I feel like I should be dedicating more time to helping myself. On a lighter side of kind of a similar situation, I've talked about in very recent episodes how I'm trying to put myself out there more, sign up for like events and go to activities with friends and things like that. And at the end of the day, this is not something I want to do. I'm trying to push myself to do it, hoping that I'll have a good time, make good experiences. I'll get into the groove of it once I'm there. But at the end of the day, dedicating to go somewhere is hard for me, and it becomes a lot harder when the details of those plans change. For example, I've been talking a little bit about how I plan on going to AC this upcoming weekend, Atlantic City. The primary reason I was okay with kind of going on that trip was because some close friends of mine were helping coordinate it, and I thought I'd get to spend a lot of time with them and things like that. And ideally, I think that's still the case, but little by little, I'm kind of being pushed out of the core group of like people going and being shoved off into a group of secondary people, which I do understand. I understand why they're doing it. It's primarily because I'm only staying one night and the core group's staying 2 nights, so they want to organize hotels better and things like that and rides and all that. And sure, I understand that. But at the same time, if that core group of friends didn't invite me and didn't say, "Oh, we'll have a good time, we can hang out in a hotel together," things like that, I probably wouldn't have agreed to go. But now I feel like I'm stuck in a situation where I have to go at this point. I've kind of said I want to and stuff. I dedicated that I'll pay whatever the costs are to go. And it's becoming especially hard because that my friends that are helping organize events say things along the lines of like, "Oh, it'd be so much easier to organize if people just dedicated and said whether they were actually going to go or not, and we didn't have to worry about them pulling out the last minute." And now, if it was my decision, purely my decision, I probably would pull out. And I'm still thinking maybe it's something I end up doing just because I don't want to have to be in that secondary group the whole time and spend all this money to be down there for an event. I care about being with my friends and supporting my friends and things like that, but I don't care enough about going to casinos and hanging out at parties and things like that to pay all this money and to spend all this time down there. So that's kind of another way where I've kind of talked myself into a corner of agreeing to do something, saying I'll be there, dedicating to being on this trip. And now, even though the situation has changed a bit, I still feel like it's necessary for me to go because I've already agreed to. Another way that I want to talk about kind of trapping myself is by being stuck at a persona that I hate. Everyone around me knows me as the guy that's very, very quick to make jokes, especially self-depreciating jokes or things like that. And I hate that about myself. It's something I've always used as a defense mechanism to kind of make jokes about myself and all that. And it's very common that people, since they see me make the jokes about myself, they don't have an issue of making similar jokes about me. And there's a very big difference between making a joke about yourself and making fun of yourself and then hearing someone else make fun of you with nearly identical words, but hearing it come out of someone else's mouth and thinking that about you is very, very difficult. And at the end of the day, I kind of grin and bear it because I know I brought this upon myself. I created this persona for myself where I'm the guy to make fun of and I'm the butt of the joke, things like that. And overall, I've been okay with that for a very, very long time. And recently, it's just been one of those things where as little jokes and stuff pile up, it really nags at me more. So even though it's in the past, I felt okay with, being the butt of the joke and things like that. Recently, I don't, and I just don't know how to make an adjustment with my group of friends and things like that to make it so that they don't act that way towards me. And I don't know. I'm not making a lot of sense in this video. It's kind of just me venting like I said I was going to, but it's just one of those things where I do feel very trapped in who I am as a person, my word, the things I've agreed to. And at the end of the day, I just feel like people have expectations of me, whether they be positive or negative expectations of me, that I have to try and meet. The negative ones are very weird because I feel like people think negative things of me as a friend, which I'm not explaining well, but things like, I make a joke out of the fact that I'll basically eat anything, free food, and I go to places for free food, and people will make jokes about that, and that's fine overall. That's a very, very light version of what I'm talking about, but just giving it as an example. But yeah, at the end of the day, I feel like I'm sacrificing my own well-being, my own happiness, my own peace of mind for the sake of fulfilling these roles and fulfilling these promises and agreements I've made, and I don't know. I don't think it's something I necessarily need to do. Right now, my immediate thought is how easy it'd be just to kind of pull out of all these plans and groups of people and pull away from everyone to kind of just take a step back and recover and deal with myself, put everything else on hold and focus on me. But at the end of the day, I know I won't, just because, I like being with my friends and all that. And a lot of my friends are in my school environment, so seeing everyone in class and stuff, it'd be hard for me to not, address some of these things in person. So I think I've sufficiently talked about myself enough in this video. I'll wrap it up here. This is one of those videos that, luckily no one's really watching these, so hopefully no one actually sees it. But in any case, I will thank you guys all for watching, and please come back tomorrow for another episode, I guess. See you then.